Vacheron Constantin have returned with a brand new selection of green dials to add to their existing armoury, and this time they've added them to their ever-growing sports watch collection, the Overseas. But how does it compare to the list of already existing competitors from the likes of AP? And should one of these green dial Vacherons be the green dial sports watch that you should add to your collection? Or is it just another green dial to add to the jumping on the bandwagon? Let's find out. Now, we have covered the Overseas before already at What's on Watches, and we've sung its praises. We said that no matter its bulky size, we would actually consider the Vacheron Constantin Overseas chronograph over the Patek Philippe Nautilus chrono, and this was surprisingly met with a sea of agreeing opinions. But the configuration that we compared that day was the blue dial, and as a lot of people are saying, green is the new blue. And looking at the models that we've got here today, I have to agree. We have the 3-hand time only model, clocking in with a case size of 41mm and a depth of 11mm. We have the big boy chrono, clocking in with a case size of 42.5mm, a depth of around 12.7mm, but a lug-to-lug length of 50mm. Now, if you're looking for one with wrist presence, this is the one to go for. It's an absolute beast. And we have the one that I'm most excited to get hands on with, the Overseas Dual Time. 41mm case size, a depth of around 12mm, and a lug-to-lug length of 49mm. This is the complication model that suits best to my vintage watch-loving wrists. We sell vintage watches, by the way, over at whatsonwatches.co.uk, so check that out. If any of these case sizes do seem a little bit too daunting and a little bit too bulky for you, VC have introduced a 35mm model. But it's clear to see that they have targeted this towards women and have equipped it with a blinding diamond bezel. So you need to be a little bit comfortable with wearing some bling. When you turn all of these over, they are all equipped with sapphire open case backs, so you can see a wide range of beautiful VC movements, the solid gold rotors, all sealed with the hallmark of Geneva, which is what we've come to expect from VC. All of these come with the interchangeable quick change strap system, and they are supplied with a really nice smooth green leather strap and a green rubber strap. The green rubber strap firmly cements this as a sports watch in my opinion. But naturally, it's the other side that has people talking with this brand new green shade, and it is the main selling point. Realistically, it's the only selling point, as these are the exact same models that we've seen in previous styles, but anyway.
This is just a quick announcement to say that since we filmed this video, we've later learned that they have actually changed the taper of the bracelet to 18mm now. Oh, and a little adjustment to the button on the quick change. Bye.
But it's not just the colour of the dial, but the great finishing too. The different finishes mean that when looking at the watch, you are greeted with a wide variety of green hues at every angle, with a sunburst green centre, a circular brushing just underneath the minute track, all topped off with a matte green chapter ring. Now, the colour of this green dial is not as saturated as some of the other green dials that we've looked at previously, as an example from the likes of Rolex with the Hulk or the John Mayer Daytona. We're not a fan of nicknames, but you'll know exactly which watches I mean. And it's definitely a deeper hue compared to the Royal Oak Chrono in yellow gold that we saw launched back in 2021. But this style from VC, I would say, is more aligned with the 50th anniversary pink gold khaki green Royal Oak that we saw from AP a couple of years back. But the different layers of lacquer on this style give it a whole new level of depth and colour. This for me is actually the main reason that I would consider the Overseas over the Royal Oak, particularly over the yellow gold Royal Oak. That dial colour was so bright, almost neon bright, and it felt like it was screaming in your face, I have money. But you don't get that from this. This is a much more deeper hue, more towards British racing green. This almost reminds me of a gentleman in a smoking jacket, smoking a cigar and saying, yes, I have money, but I don't need to shout about that. And for me, that's the move. Now, we are yet to see a green dial in these bolder materials in the Nautilus collection from Patek. We have seen the 5711 in green, but that watch is steel, so it doesn't feel right for me to compare. But the refined colours of this dial compared to the competition does make me feel more inclined to strap one of these on my wrist compared to the Nautilus or the Royal Oak. Controversial? Of course. I'm not saying that the Royal Oak is a bad watch. It's an amazing watch, and I would honestly be so pleased to own one. But in my opinion, the dial is too bright in the yellow gold and too subdued in the rose gold, and there's no winner middle ground with the Royal Oak. But Vacheron have absolutely nailed the colour palette with this watch, and it really sings to me. My personal favourite, as mentioned, is the one I'm holding, which is the Jewel Time. And with the overseas taking inspiration from travel, I think that this watch just makes perfect sense. And in my opinion, it firmly places the overseas Jewel Time as one of the best offerings that you can get from Vacheron. The 5110 DT movement allows you to adjust the hour hand in 1 hour increments using the crown, and the pusher that you can find underneath allows you to set the date, which can be found on the sub-dial at 6. My favourite feature, however, has to be them beautiful little drops of red that can be found on the GMT hand and on the AM/PM indicator. I feel this just gives a really nice contrast to the green dial. Compared to the chrono, I just feel that the Jewel Time is a little bit less cluttered, and if I was insisting on having a complication model, this would be the one that I would go for. If you just want to enjoy the beautiful finishing, however, of the green lacquered dial, then the 3-hand one is the one you need to go for. No bells and whistles, just beautiful green hues and a really clear view of the polishing and brush finishing of the case. Perfect. In terms of price point, the 3-hand model will set you back just under 60 grand, with the Jewel Time and the chronograph model setting you back between £73,000 and £77,000. Now, that is a lot of money, but when you compare it to the competition, again looking at the Royal Oak with the pink gold green dial Royal Oak chrono sitting over 100 grand on the secondary hand market, and the yellow gold green dial at over 200 grand, and the fact that you can't just walk into AP and buy a Royal Oak anymore, it almost makes this Vacheron look like it's good value for money. Sort of. Let us know what you think on these watches below, and feel free to shout at me for disrespecting the Royal Oak. That's fine. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.